Wolf, Season 5, Episode 7, Strange Frequencies. This episode wasn't as diabolically bad as last episode. I mean, last episode took My Will to Live and crushed it. But this episode, I was mostly like sleepwalking when I first saw it. It's like maybe because I was tired, or maybe because the episode was boring, because it was parts of it that to me were really, really boring. But I was just like meh through the whole episode. Nothing really did move me. There was a lot of good things in this episode that I did like, surprisingly. So I'm gonna go right into that. First of all, we got to see some more Parrish, and I'm always here for more Parrish. Although the Parrish that we did get wasn't all that awesome, but I love that we actually got like maybe a couple lines of dialogue this episode, because they've been steadily sort of weeding him out. He's like always in the periphery and not in the center of things. But this episode he definitely was in the center of things, which I really liked. Let's talk about the fight scene. I actually liked the fight scene. It was stupid. The reason for the fight scene was stupid, but I really loved. I love action movies, and I love exploding things up. So I was really loving the sort of fight between Kira and her mother. Again, it was stupid to have that fight scene there, but I really liked it either way. I will go into why it was stupid when I go through my dislikes. So, and yeah, the reason why I'm sounding so bad is because I'm still a little sick, still recovering from a cold. So if you can't hear me or I'm a little muffled, that's why. But yeah, the fight scene was really awesome, and I will definitely be talking about that later on. Let's see. I think the highlight of this episode, I think for a lot of fans, and for me, I think as well, although I don't ship it, was Stiles and Theo. They really saved this episode a lot. They had a lot of snark, a lot of banter. It kind of made me reminded me a little bit of actually the banter between Peter and Stiles that we had in the previous seasons. Theo sort of is actually talking sense for once. I think the two surprising, well, it wasn't surprising, Theo's talking sense, because Theo's been talking sense since season 1. Not season 1, but from episode 1. But Liam was talking sense, and I'm like, where did this sense come from? Can we get more of that sense? I mean, it was really unexpected for Liam to be talking sense this episode and to be a voice of reason this episode. So yeah, but back to the Theo scenes, I really liked how they sort of interact with each other and react to each other. It was really UST heavy. I mean, I was really surprised how slashy their scenes were. I mean, really slashy. And usually they don't throw us a bone anymore, because Jeff Davis has a hate boner for Steric fans and Slash fans, period. I mean, so I was really, really surprised by how slashy these scenes were. I mean, I was just like, dude, just kiss him already. And I don't even ship Stio at all. Stio at all. I do, because I don't like villains. I don't like killers. I don't root for killers usually. It's one of the reasons why I can never really get on the Peter Hale thing, because he killed his niece. I can't really forgive that. But yeah, it also reveals that apparently Theo is a demon. Damien, but I will talk about that later. But yeah, I really love the banter and the snark between Theo and Styles, definitely. I talked about this earlier, but I want to go into the fact that there's at least somebody in this episode, excuse me, that was trying to talk sense to Scott, trying to, not to Scott, but to try to poke holes in the master plan, also poke holes into this whole storyline where Styles feels uncharacteristic guilt over Donovan's death. I really like that people were actually talking sense. So even if it wasn't our protagonist or any of the main characters, people were like really talking sense. There's at least a couple people who are talking sense. I already mentioned that it was Theo and Liam, and how surprised I was that Liam was the one actually standing up and saying this plan sucks, and we'll talk about why the plan sucks later. But I was really, really, really surprised how that someone at least spoke up and said, your guilt over Donovan is stupid. This plan you got, Scott, is stupid. Thank you. I know. Basically, Theo and Liam is actually being the mouthpiece of the audience so far and telling these people, telling the rest of the cast, the Donovan storyline and the whole plan with the Dread Doctors is stupid. Thank you. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Thank you. Thank you, Theo and Liam, for being the voice of reason. Even though I don't like Theo, and I never did like Theo because he's a creepy bastard. Not Liam. Theo. Yeah, Theo is a creepy bastard, not Liam. Then, but yeah, I literally stood up and applauded when he basically told Styles that it was his guilt over Donovan was stupid. So thank you. Oh God, what else is there? Oh, Malia didn't have a lot of screen time, and I'm like, yay! Yay. She did not have a lot of screen time. She didn't have a lot of dialogue this episode, and oh my God, it was like a breath of fresh air. Oh, every time that she is not in an episode or fully in an episode makes me happy. The one time, but the scene that she was really in that really made me smile was when she was taken down basically by a bunch of what do you call it? Bear traps, big ass bear traps, and I'm like, take that bitch down like the animal that she is. Thank you. Really, just like that was like the best part, other than the studio scenes. That was basically the best part. I don't know if Jeff Davis and company knew that we would be pissed over the fact that Sheriff and Natalie Martin went on a date or are dating. We never really got an update on Sheriff's relationship status. So, but yeah, to make up for that sort of abomination, we got a lot of Sheriff Melissa scenes, and I was like, yes. And Melissa was flirting with him outrageously. At one point, I thought they both went into the records room because they was going to look through the record room to see if there was any connection with the chimeras medically. But I read that as, you want to come in the records room with me and have a quickie? I kid you not, I know I wasn't the only one. Thank you. I was like, you better hit that, Sheriff. Whatever. Go do what you got to do. I was happy. I was happy. I didn't like the result of their sleuthing together because the result was stupid. But honestly, I would like to have more scenes with Sheriff and Melissa, because that needs to happen. That needs to be a thing that happens. And if it don't, and he ends up in the end with Natalie Martin, I'm going to be pissed. And I know I won't be the only one. Thank you. Let's see. Hayden punching Liam when he tells her the very truth. That was hilarious. So, in the stupidest thing ever, he tells her, which was, and she didn't believe him, because what sane person would believe that shit is real? Like, who would? And so she gets rightfully pissed off and storms off, and he goes and he becomes, you know, oh god, he werewolves out and puts his gay face on, and he growls at her, and she, being awesome, punches him out. That was like the most awesome scene I've seen from her since her inception. I swear to God, that was awesome. And I was on the floor laughing. I know I wasn't the only one. I was like, yes. I was like, that's the best reaction I've seen of the werewolf reveal in ages. So yeah, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. Continue doing what you're doing. I think that's the last thing I disliked. I liked, because that's the only like little highlights that we got of good. And so, unfortunately, I had to move on to the dislikes, and there are a lot. Why? I mean, there are always a lot with the show, so let me take a little break. Okay, dislikes. The Donovan thing. My big point of contention this season has always been the Styles' storyline. That's basically taken up all of his attention of his so-called guilt over Donovan. I really, really hate it. Again, it's turning out that Styles' guilt is not about how he feels himself guilty. It's become more about how his actions affect Scott. And that's what makes Scott a Gary Stu in my eyes, because everything is about Scott in the end. No one can have their own little thing that's about them. It's always got to come back to Scott. It doesn't speak of him being the lead character. It speaks of him being a Gary Stu, basically. I was like, it'd be one thing if this was the straw that broke the camel's back, as Sticky Keys says, and he basically has to own up that he's killed a lot of people to this point, and him feeling generating guilt over that, because that would have been something. And actually, it would have pulled in the other 4 seasons. This Donovan thing is not about that. It's about Scott. I also seen that, and they're also using this Donovan thing to start putting a more further wedge between Scott and his father. That's pissing me off, because there are further isolating styles, and I'll talk about that later, but it's just further isolating him, and I don't like that at all. Okay. Also, Theo reveals that he was there, that he went back because Leah had called about the book, and he was nearby, and he went on to check. He saw Styles' jeep and wanted to go check on, Styles, and saw him kill Donovan, which he didn't. Again, it was an accident. It was an accident, and it was self-defense. My question is, why did Theo didn't help him? I know he's evil, but if he wasn't going to let just Donovan kill him, which would have been like a great way to get rid of Styles and sort of use that to sort of get closer to Scott, that would have been interesting. But he didn't do that because Styles survived. But why didn't he just go in and try to help him? That would sort of further help you sort of try to get in with Styles. But he never did that. That was stupid to me. I was like, why you didn't try to help him? And you could have had two scenarios where you've had saved his life, and that would have further put him in Styles' good graces. I don't understand. That was stupid. Strategic wise. So, let's talk about the Kira thing, because I had so many issues about Kira's storyline this season. It feels very, very forced. It doesn't feel natural at all. There was no foreshadowing, not really, beforehand. I can understand if she's been having issues with her spirit from the get-go, so she's been activated. That would be one thing. But from my own research, I find that has not been the issue at all. Well, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's having a issue with her fox spirit. No one's communicating with each other about it. I mean, her mother and her father thought it was a good idea to, when she knew that she was the most dangerous, when it was where Kasune becomes sort of takes over. They decide to confront her, to ambush her, and have her mother confront her violently. Why is that a good idea? That's stupid. I wonder if Kira's mother thought that she's a 900-year-old Kitsune, that she couldn't beat the spirit, because I don't think it was obvious that Kira won that fight. I don't know. No, I'm having a hard time articulating this because A, I'm still a little sick, and two, I just don't understand what he was trying, what Jeff Davis or Angela Harvey, who's the one who wrote this, the same one who did, I think it was 505, who wrote 505. I think wrote this, but I don't understand what she was trying to achieve at all with that, with Kira's storyline this episode, particularly because they confront her in a violent way. They don't sit down and talk to her and say, this is what's going on, and we're going to do our very best to find out how to fix this. No, they decide to, on a Saturday morning, and so the school is empty, and I get that, but they decide to confront her in a classroom, the windows wide open, like there's no people who walk past the school on a Saturday morning. I mean, I don't know where her father's classroom is, but I would guess somebody, or a maintenance man or somebody, would walk past on a Saturday morning. Yet, also, another thing, why did her mother think that it was a good idea to attack her in there? They could have destroyed things. They could have broken property easily. Why was this the place where they had to ambush her? I don't get that. Also, I don't understand why they had to ambush her, period. Again, I said this earlier, but I'm going to say this again. Why couldn't they just sit down and talk to her? This is a dangerous... She is being possessed, or not being possessed, but being taken over by her fox spirit, and that fox spirit comes out in dangerous situations. You would think, why would you think that provoking it was a good idea? You can't really reason with a fox spirit, but you could reason with Kira. It was just dumb. It was, as much as I loved the fight, because the fight itself was badass, it was stupid. It had no place being there at all. It was illogical. I hate to sound like I'm Spock, but it was so illogical, and it made me like facepalm. So, okay. Oh, back to Kira's statement, because I'm gonna go through her whole arc this episode. I think her whole arc with her parents this episode. So afterwards, her mother does acupuncture on her, which, yeah, I know, cliche, but they do acupuncture on her to try to sort of balance out her fox spirit and her human consciousness. But afterward, and Kira cries for some reason, and we never get a reason why she's crying at all. But after that, her mother just leaves her and goes to sleep. They don't lock her up. They don't sleep near her or have anything watching her. They just leave her there. And they know that her fox spirit is taking over. Has been taking over her body. Yeah, they just leave with her. That's stupid. Oh, you know what? I also forgot something. So when I was talking about the fight, I forgot one of the biggest things that I had issues with. So Kira is not supposed to know Japanese, but in the sort of fight, to me, it felt like, I sort of read it as that she knew exactly what her mother was saying in Japanese. It felt like it. But if she didn't know what she was saying, because at some point, she's talking to the fox spirit for some part of that scene, but there was portions of that scene that she was talking in Japanese to Kira herself. Why would you talk to your daughter in Japanese when you know she doesn't know Japanese? So there's more holes in that sort of canon bullshit that she doesn't know Japanese. I call bullshit. I think the whole fandom call bullshit. Okay, now. The Doctor's powers. I don't have to go back, but I don't think they really divined them to have that much power where they can control the locks of your car, that they control sort of lights themselves, electricity themselves. I haven't seen them have that much power throughout the previous episodes, but all of a sudden they can control electricity itself. That's kind of stupid and out of the blue. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe was doing that before, but I don't remember. So I'm saying that's stupid until I said otherwise. The plan. Lord help me. The plan. So Scott and Styles and Lydia come up with this cockamamie plan to use Hayden as bait and to trap the doctors and retreat and basically capture one of the doctors. And it was stupid. I'm gonna go why it was stupid in a minute, because I think, hold on. Yeah, in a few minutes. But it was just like, y'all going. I get what I'm saying. They're not doing any research. Nobody's doing any research. You don't see anybody. People say Mason is doing research, but Mason's not doing research about the doctor saying, oh, they have not brought him into this mess at all. Styles is not doing any research anymore, but they're taking what Dr. Valak said in the book as 100% truth. When you know that this man is very much like Dean, and he's vague, he obscures, and oh god, I'm saying this again because my nose is sort of being stuffy right now, and it's just a mess. So they're taking what the doctor, taking the book, and Dr. Valak, who wrote it, as 100% truth. They're not researching at all. They're not doing any more research beyond the book. They're not confirming that the book is 100% truthful. They're not doing any kind of research. It's pissing me off. There is some theory that Mason is taking over Stiles' job as head researcher, but I don't see that. Mason's not consistently researching, and when he is researching, he is not researching. He's not researching the main problem, the main big bad at all. They haven't brought him not really brought him into the fold with the whole plans with the Chimera thing at all. They haven't even really done that. They're just now bringing Liam into it, and mostly because of Hayden and his connection to Hayden. So it's just like no one's doing research, and no one's giving one of the job of research to any of the other sort of support members of the pack. Why? I hate research fail in every sense of the word, and it's just aggravating because it just speaks of laziness on not only the writer's parts but on the characters' parts as well. So yeah. The Kira and Scott montage, because not only is this whole entire season, by the way, a big fat giant flashback, we also get like flashbacks into flashbacks, flashbacks in flashbacks. They even upped the ante by doing an unnecessary Scott and Kira montage of their greatest hits as a couple. In the middle was supposed to be a very sort of tension-filled scene, and they're building tension for the big sort of final confrontation with the doctors and Scott and the pack. But they break that up, and it's just, they really have that bad of breaking up. Those are supposed to be tense-filled scenes with unnecessary romance. They do it again with Liam and Hayden later on in the episode, but this was the most egregious. Ugh, I can't speak today. This was the Scott and Kira montage was the most horrible or most prominent example of them doing unnecessary romance scenes when they're not really needed at that particular time. They don't really have really great romantic timing. The writers do at all. They have no idea how to write romance, and it's obvious from how they're writing romance this season. Also, we also know from this particular scene with Kira and Scott that he still hasn't told her what he saw about Kira's fox spirit. Kira hasn't told him anything that's going on, because now that she's in the know about what her fox spirit is doing, she hasn't came to him and told him anything. No one in this fucking series or this season or the characters at all or in the show fucking communicates anymore. No one sits down and tells nobody anything anymore. Everything is about everything is a lie, or they don't even say anything to them at all. And I'm just like, why does no one sit down and just talk for a second? And also there's a later hallucination with Kira's fox spirit sort of killing God, killing or trying to kill Scott, and it's a hallucination. It's Scott's hallucinations from his own mind, and I'm like, where is this fear coming from? When has that been indicated in any time that the fox spirit will go against you? They usually go after bad guys. Why are you so afraid that it's going to go after you next? There's no indication sorry, since then, that since you realized that Kira's fox spirit was coming more and more sentient, that that fox spirit was gonna go after you at all. Yet this is your biggest fear. To me, the tension between Kira and Scott is ridiculous and forced and ham-fisted, and I don't like how they're treating Kira at all this season. It's coming to more and more to my attention that with the tension between Arden Cho, who plays Kira, and the writers and the administration staff of the show, then most likely she's going to be gone by the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah. The weird marriage sex scene. I had no idea why it was there. Maybe because it was trying to transition us into Parrish being in one of his sort of hallucinations, or that he was in. But it was just weird and gross for no reason. So Lydia fake Lydia and Parrish were in the car and doing patrol and being lookout for the doctors, appears, and they start making out, and then he rips off her dress, her shirt completely off of her, and then they're both she's in her bra, and he has no shirt on, and it's getting hot and heavy, and all of a sudden flames, or she's burning his skin, and I'm like, and then he jerks back, and she's like all burnt up and messy, and I don't understand why it was like that, why the scene was necessary at all. I just don't get it. It felt like a one big acid trip. And then there was the card again, which was sort of like when Lydia is his queen on the card, and it was just like heavy forced symbolism, and I just don't understand. At this point, I was just like, sorry, whatever. Although the episode was mostly about Hayden, because the events revolve around Hayden and her being a chimera, and the doctors going after her, and Scott using her as bait. There was no really a lot of she didn't have a lot of dialogue, and she didn't have a lot of like purpose in that whole entire episode, other than to be the damsel in distress, basically, and Scott and Liam's reason to be sort of fretting over her. Mason and Corey. So I don't know why Corey's still here. I have no clue why Corey's still here. Corey happens to be the Chimera's Lucas's boyfriend. I don't understand why he's still here. What was the purpose of him being here this episode? Oh, you know why he was here? Because now he's a Chimera, I think. Because then he did announce that Corey was a Chimera, but that sort of plot line came very late to the game, and then it was dropped before it was dropped towards the end of the episode. And no one knows what's going on with Corey at this moment. He didn't even bring Corey there. I would thought it would be like, come on, my friends can help you, let's go. But Mason didn't even bring Corey with him. So I don't know what's happening with Corey at all. I seriously don't know at this point what the hell Mason's role is going to be. I've already talked about this earlier, but seriously, what is his role supposed to be? this season. I have no idea. They're supposed to be fleshing him out. Because Jeff Davis said in his interview with BuzzFeed that he's going to flesh out Mason this year. I've yet to see that, and it's almost this year, but this season, I've yet to see that. There are only like 4 episodes left of season 5A. So, and I still have no idea what Mason is supposed to be accomplishing in the series. So, let's see. So I said I was going to talk about it later. Later happens to be now. I'm going to talk about Scott and his stupid plan. I mean, we as a fandom have given Derek so much shit about his stupid plans. And it turns out it's not Derek himself. It's Jeff Davis and his writers who are making stupid plans and thinking that it should be, you know, it should be, you call it, awesome. And I'm like, they're not awesome, they're stupid. I mean, it makes no common sense. I'm gonna go through why they're stupid. First of all, they figure out that the ley lines all converge on under the school. And I'm thinking, first of all, Buffy did this better. And stop cribbing from Buffy, please. Oh my God, he cribs from Buffy. Jeff Davis and his writers crib from Buffy so much, and it just drives me crazy as a Buffy fan. It's like, stop cribbing from Buffy. If you can't even like steal and make it awesome, then stop cribbing. So Scott traps Scott and Styles and Lydia decide to turn the high school into a fortress or into a big huge trap to trap in the doctors because they're going after Hayden and they want Hayden really badly. So to use Hayden as bait and trap them into the school and capture the one of the doctors. A couple reasons why this is stupid. The high school. A lot of points of entry and not very easy to make into a fortress. They're thinking that they can trap them by using the frequencies from trap them or get warning when they're about to appear when by putting radio and cell phone jammers all over the place. Yeah. Once again, taking what the book has to say as 100% truth and not researching it at all. They, in this brilliant plan, they also forget that with the cell phone and the radio jammers, that they will not be able to use their cell phones at all. So they sit out Theo and Styles to watch over the Chimera's body and to figure out who's actually stealing the bodies. But yeah, they have no way to contact them if they need help. They also don't have any way to contact anyone else for help, or contact the police, or if someone gets hurt, contact like 911 at all, because they're stupid. They go and they get trapped into the locker room, where they don't even think to go into a classroom where there might be a phone and a landline they can use. They sort of go and get barricade themselves into the locker room, which was stupid. They have zero backup plan at all. Zach, talking about my original character now. Scott has no backup plan for when things go wrong. He has no way to contact anybody outside the school. And he has no idea what he's going to do with the doctor once he captures them. If God forbid he does capture them. Also, he's putting an innocent girl's life on life, period. You know, he's playing with her life, because if something happens to her, it's going to be your fault. Yet he never thinks that through. We give, as a fandom, we give Derek's plans so much shit, as his plans as Alpha, and rightfully so, because they were sucky. But again, Scott's supposed to be the true Alpha, so much better than Derek, yet he also makes sucky plans. It's just, okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Also, what makes their sucky plans sucky is that they keep split. In a horror movie, like, it's horror movie rules. And if you're going to do horror movie tropes, you got to play by the horror movie rules. And the horror movie rules is, first thing first, never split up. Don't do it. Stick together. Stick together. They split up like a bunch of dumbasses. They only have Scott and Liam as heavy fighters for when something happens. They take Malia, who is also one of their best fighters, is playing, what do you call it? Playing lookout. That makes no sense. You barricade yourself in a room with all your Hive fighters, so when the Dread Doctors come, you will have someone who you have backup. Jesus, that's stupid. It was so stupid. Lydia, so the pills, or like I call them, the plot device pills. Hayden remembers that she forgot her pills. Why do you need your pills right then and there? Can you wait until it was over and then go get your pills? And Scott, like a dumbass, he doesn't send Lydia. He goes himself, leaving Liam along with Lydia and Hayden. And he goes and go get her pills. That's stupid. Liam is a relatively new wolf, and you have the alpha powers behind you. You should have stayed the fuck there and just sent Liam or Lydia. But you decided to leave and go get the pills. That's stupid. Lydia going to Tracy. Lydia sort of gets worried about Scott and goes after Scott, and she sees Tracy. And say, Tracy is dead. Who is this bitch? She goes up to Tracy. Can I help you, Tracy? And I'm like, what? Why are you doing this? And she gets her tongue, her whole tongue, people, yanked out. And it's just stupid. And so it's just stupid, and it's just unnecessary use of gore. It was just stupid. Scott, who is getting the leash. Oh, sorry. Stop, who's getting the pills, sees a leash. Because he's been seeing like a leash all throughout the episode. And I'm thinking, weird dog joke? I think it might be. He goes like a dumbass and follows it. And he gets ambushed into a hallucination of Kira. And she tries to kill him. He gets saved he gets snapped out of the hallucination by Mason. And the whole scene felt really like surreal, because Mason, a few minutes earlier, was at cinema with Corey, but all of a sudden he's at the high school. Weird. Actually, this whole season, but particularly these last few episodes, feels really like a really bad acid trip, because the time going through this episode is choppy. Well, not even this episode, through the rest of these episodes through the season, are choppy and disjointed and trippy, and I'm like, if I wanted to watch someone's acid trip, I'll watch Alice in Wonderland. Period. So Theo and Styles, I said I like their scenes together, and I do, but their scenes together were freaking long as hell, and they were dragged on forever. I mean, I can understand maybe 1 or 2 scenes, but I think it was like 3 or 4 scenes where they were in the car staking out the animal clinic. It was ridiculous. Also, let's say goodbye to the Jeep. They said the Jeep's name was Roscoe. I don't think it was. I don't think it was never named. But yeah, goodbye, Roscoe the Jeep. I mean, you're going to a better place. You don't need to be on that shitty show anyway. Bye. Bye, honey. Go follow Derek. Go to Derek and be in a better place. Let's see. The biggest bombshell, was supposed to be the biggest bombshell of the episode, I think, was the whole realization that all the chimeras were born chimeras because of a skin graft or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know medical stuff. I don't know, and I'm not a scientist. I don't even like science like that. But even I know that's shitty science. That's some shit I expect Stephanie Meyer to come with, not like you, who has like a team of writers and possibly some interns who could have researched that better. That is such Stephanie Meyer pseudoscience. I can't even tell you. That's like the same thing with the whole, her vampires being a bunch of venom lubricated crystal statues, basically. That's just stupid. Let's see. Stupidity going around. Liam is the last one to realize that Hayden's bait. I mean, it was really obvious. I mean, that she was being bait. And he's like, he goes, looks through her bag for no apparent reason, and finds a bunch of chains. And I'm like, why y'all didn't chain her up in the first damn place? That was stupid. Why you just letting her walk around? She could be activated at any time. She's a dangerous magical creature. You should lock her up. What is with people not locking people up this season? Back in the day, that was a thing that people did. But all of a sudden, no one's doing that anymore. That's stupid. I already talked about Hayden and her plot device fills, so I already talked about that. So the doctors basically blows through any of the traps or bypass all of the people on patrol to get to Hayden. And they also take Liam, because it's like, hey, we need a werewolf to work on. And the spirit mom, let's take Liam as well. So they take both Hayden and Liam, basically, because it was a stupid plan. And Scott and everybody's so shocked, while Theo and Styles are watching the Jeep burn because Parrish got activated and basically stole a body. And I don't even know what's going on with Parrish's storyline. It's stupid. We don't know if he's working for the doctors. It feels like he is. I don't know how they got to Parrish at all. We still don't know what the fuck he is. We still don't know what the doctor's motivation is. We got 4 episodes left. What the fuck is going on? Let's see. The doctors take Hayden and Liam, like I said, not Hayden and Liam, but yeah, Hayden and Liam to their secret lair. We get like a flash of their Darth Vader-ish misshapen head underneath the helmet. They work on Hayden while Liam is pleading with him to stop. I was like, yawn. Can this episode be over yet? I knew shit was gonna happen to Hayden. If she survives the season, I'd be surprised. And that is going to be another nail in his coffin, in Scott's coffin. I more than anyone want to see the McCall pack fall, because I think he's the shit alpha, and Derek always knew alpha. But the way that they're making Scott's pack fall is so stupid and so contrived and so forced, and I'm like, I'm not even invested in it. I can't even watch. It's not even entertaining. So, okay. I just like, that's how I felt the whole episode. I was just like, I was so underwhelmed. I was like, yeah. I have not been really entertained this season at all. I've been more entertained watching Flash, honestly, or Gotham. I'm not really invested in it, and I so didn't want to see it. I was slogging through it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to review it. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to lay down and sleep, because I was still sick, and I don't want to even mess with this mess when I'm sick. Let's see. The big reveal is that Kira sort of escaped from her parents, leaving this weird 1 of 15 thing. Who knows what that's about? From her acupuncture needles on her bed. She goes, and she either she's killed somebody, or someone who has her belt, because she lost her belt earlier on in the episode, and has killed a chimera and left him on Melissa's dinner table, or kitchen table, and Melissa finds it and screams, and we are left off with that. Again, I am not really moved. It's interesting. I'm just like, this whole episode, I felt it was like I was dreading watching this episode, and then I was dreading rewatching the episode, and I was dreading reviewing it, because I'm just bored, and it's like a big, huge slog, and I'm not entertained, and I'm sick, and I just like, stop it. And I keep saying this, but it's just like, I'm supposed to be entertained, and then I go on Tumblr and I see people like, oh, we're so excited, and oh my god, and what's gonna happen? And I'm like, really? And then I see people on Teen Wolf Wikia talking shit about, why does it have bad ratings? And I'm like, oh, I'm so pissed that they don't have bad ratings, because it's boring. It's stupid and not entertaining at all, and the storylines don't make no fucking sense, and the characters are no longer in any way, shape, or form resemble the characters that we started out with. It's fucking boring. I say what you will about the first 2 seasons about Teen Wolf. There was a lot of issues with it, but you know what? It was entertaining as hell. I am not entertained. I could be watching something else and be entertained. I don't have a lot of free time, but I'm watching this shit, and I'm bored. It's like watching the less intellectual version of War and Peace. I'm bored. Just bored. Jesus. I am not looking forward for the next 3 episodes. Honestly, next 4 or 3 episodes. Honestly, I'm just dreading it. I want the season to be over with so I can rest and like dive myself into hysteric fic. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't. I'm done. I'm literally done. I'm sick. I'm irritated. I have to deal with this bullshit. I'm done. I love you guys because you stick here and you listen to my rambles. I do outline, but yeah, I tend to repeat a lot of the shit that I meant to say. But thank you for sticking in with me, guys. I love you. A couple things are going to change on the site. I will be making a notice about that. I think it's time for me to sort of up my game with that. I will be coming back with text posts on August 24th because my kids will be going back to school, and that means 8 glorious hours without 3 of my kids. So yeah, I'll have much more free time once my kids go back to school. I think that's it. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for the guys who've actually sent their well wishes, because they know I'm sick and it's a big thing. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye bye.